Hello everybody, and welcome to this microeconomic video on markets. A market is something that people tend to think they understand and know what it is, but then when you actually question them they kind of crumble and don't really understand what they're talking about. So that's what I intend to cover in this video, markets. So firstly, our information section in the top left. What actually is a market? Well, a market is defined as the umbrella under which all trade occurs. So that's just our definition, but I'll use an example to explain that. So, for example, it says underneath, the food market is the collective term for all food retailers. So the food market is the name we give to all of the different businesses and firms that sell and produce food. So for all of our farmers, all of our shopping centres, all of our supermarkets like Tesco, Sainsbury's, M&S, all those people, they all come under the food market. And the food market will also be the place where food is traded. So it will be the place where there is a demand for food and a supply of food. So that's what a market is. A market is the umbrella under which all trade occurs. It is where the trading of that substance will occur, and it's where demand of that substance will be and supply of that substance will be. And you have all different markets. I've used the example of the food market. You also have the oil market, the car market, loads of different types of markets for almost every single good and service. Next, markets in free market economies. So how do markets operate in free market economies? It was said by the economist Adam Smith that there is an invisible hand in markets in free market economies which allocates resources to everybody's advantage. That's just something you need to know. Now, within a market in a free economy, in a free market economy, there are three economic actors who interact with the market. Because remember, in our free market economy, there's no government intervention. So out of our four economic actors, we have three of them working. We have the firm, or firms or businesses, we have the worker, and we have the consumer. We don't have the government because they don't get involved in free market economies. So, in our market, within our free market economy, we have firms and businesses, workers and consumers. We're just going to look at consumers and firms just now. So, consumers in markets in free market economies. They are known as the king in a free market. And this is because they allocate their scarce resources to the good which best maximises their welfare or meets their satisfaction. Now what that means is, consumers are king in a free market because they will allocate their scarce, their small amount of money, their budget, to the goods which they best think will maximise their welfare and meet their satisfaction and do them the best. So they will spend their money where they choose, and that makes them king. And if the consumer is the king because of this, that means that the firm is the servant to the consumer in a market, in a free market economy. And firms are also motivated by profit, as we already know. And if firms fail to serve the consumer, if they fail to meet the demand of the consumer with supply, and they fail to make profit, therefore, they will exit the market because they have failed. And an example of that is Rover. I don't know if Rover reformed in another name, but either way, Rover failed as a car company, so therefore they exited the market. They went into liquidation and exited the market. The other thing you need to know about firms in markets within free market economies is that in the long term, firms cannot make higher than average levels of profit. And if you look at that really poorly drawn diagram next to that point on the My Map, it shows we have our x-axis, our straight line there, and that just represents level of profit. So that straight line going through the middle means zero, so you're making no profit. And then if you notice, we have peaks in profit, as in the fluctuating line representing actual profit. We have peaks in that line and troughs in that line. So we have peaks in profit and troughs in profit. Peaks in profit when the business and the economy is doing well, troughs in profit when the economy is not doing so well. So therefore these peaks will cancel out the troughs, the high amounts of profit will cancel out the low amounts of profit and the losses and the negative profit. So therefore in the long term these will cancel each other out, so therefore you cannot make more than average level of profit.